So everybody knows Pindle is the fastest magic find run where you can find some of the rarest and best uniques in the game, right? Right?
Nope.
So that's right, there is actually one that's faster than Pindle, and he can actually drop a lot of the same super rare uniques that are actually incredibly useful. And that's my boy right here, Thresh. Now today I'm going to give you a guide for running him, because if you don't do it quite correctly, the efficiency won't be there. Maybe you're doing it in the wrong manner, and it's not really going to be worth it. You're really going to be setting yourself behind. But if you do it right, you're going to absolutely love it. Now, what exactly are the reasons why you want to run Thresh? Now, just so I don't forget anything, Max Roll over here, the website, said it just as good as I can. So let me go ahead and read off what they put here, why you should farm Thresh, just so I don't forget anything. It's a great place to farm because, as all super unique monsters in the game, he will always drop 2 items. So it doesn't matter if you're on players 1, players 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't matter. He will drop 2 items and those 4 potions every single time. Also, his spawn location makes him incredibly easy to find, especially on single player. You can re-roll maps in order to get one where he's right next to the waypoint, and you can run him so incredibly fast. I actually have experiments and tests I did back in the past where I could actually run Thresh in sub 4 seconds per run. And that's the time counting from when you load into the game until Thresh is taken out. What kind of great items can he drop? Well, Thresh is actually the exact same treasure class as Pindle, but his monster level is actually 84. So his drops are slightly more limited, but the thing is actually some of the absolute best items in the game that are the super rare uniques you can find from Thresh. There's almost none that are super crazy, incredibly rare, that are actually used on any of the endgame builds. Now, just for example here, I already got it searched up for Griffin's Eye at 500 magic find, and this is on players 1. Remember, you pretty much only want to run him on players 1 if you can choose. Now, the odds of finding this from Thresh are 1 in 22,000 at 500 magic find. It sounds like a huge number, but remember, if you're running it with a barbarian, you get that second chance, which usually for most players, it falls around 75% chance of 2 more items dropping. So this will drop down to, like, I'm not great at math, a 1 in 13,000 or something like that. Yeah, it sounds crazy, I know, but actually it's almost identical drop odds to getting a Griffin's Eye off of Pindle. And everybody says Pindle's a good spot to go run for Griffin's Eye, right? Now we'll take a look at another one right here, Death's Web. There's no way you could find Death's Web from Thresh, right? Well, actually, you can, but the odds, oof, that's some tough odds right there. 1 in 58,000. It's a little rough, but also do remember, it's the same odds of you getting one from Pindle. And I would say this does sound like a crazy number, but remember, you're adding 1 in 58,000 to 1 in 22,000. And then as you add more and more and more items, it ends up being down to a low number, like 1 in 1,000 Thresh runs. You're guaranteed to get one of these super rare, like very, very useful uniques that you really want to find. Just to keep them going, can you find Wind Force from Thresh? Oh yeah, 1 in 19,000. How about up here? Death's Fathom. Oh heck yeah, you can. 1 in 35,000. So if you add all these 1 in 1 in 1 in 35, 1 in 22, just remember that lowers the odds, it makes it even better chance for less number of runs to find one of these great items. Maybe we'll go with another one, Nightwing's Veil. Oh yeah, you can. 1 in 23,000. Now, how about something like Cranium Basher? It's not really used, like hardly ever, but it is one of those super rare uniques you need for the Holy Grail. I don't see Thresh here. There is Pindle, but no Thresh. So this is one of the items that falls into being the same treasure class that could drop from Thresh, but Thresh isn't high enough monster level in order to drop it. Another such situation here, Arachnid's Mesh. You actually cannot find this from Pindle actually either, but you can't find it from Thresh either. A lot of these other guys you can find it from, Neelathak, Snap, Chip, Shatter. It's a tough one to say there. A lot of these different other super uniques here, in different areas. Actually, Mega Layer Act 3 kind of surprised me. But yeah, this is one of the very useful uniques that you cannot find from Thresh, but hey, you can't find it from Pindle either. So those are some great examples of kind of what you can and can't find. I don't remember the exact number, but there's actually something like in the 20s of items that you cannot find from Thresh that you can't actually get from Pindle, because there's really only 3 items in the game you cannot find at Pindle. So now you have the general idea of why you should run Thresh and kind of the great stuff you could find, but what is actually kind of the best way to do it? Now, first up, Thresh is actually go to the area's plateau waypoint, and from here, he's always going to be up to the right or up to the left, whichever one you decide to go. You test one. If you run into a wall, then it's going to be the opposite direction. Also, if you ever see something like this, there are stairs, any type of stairs anywhere in this area, whatever direction they are facing. You see these little steps right here. that's going to be the direction going to Thresh. It's like you're going uphill. This is going to be important online because let's say perhaps you're running this before a Bale run or something like that. Someone runs out the Pindle, someone runs out the Eldritch. Well, almost nobody ever runs out the Thresh Socket, so it's going to be free reign for you to go out there and take him out and get those drops. Now for offline single player, right here you see the waypoint, and it's hard to see on the map. Hopefully you can, but either way I'll show you when I actually teleport. It is 1, 2 teleports with this barbarian away, and that's directly to Thresh Socket. And here we are, swing, swing, swing. Chop him down, he goes out. There's those 2 items and the 4 potions. Hit the item find. Unfortunately this time we didn't get that second drop, but it is that quick. Go ahead, save and exit. The saving and exiting, if you're on single player, can be super quick. We're going to do a run full speed here as we run down, get to our way, teleport over twice, chop him down, do our find item, look at all those items right there, and you can save and exit again. It is that quick. Now there is an important reason why I was doing these examples with the Berserker Barb. It is one of the best builds to go ahead and run out here. Because if we look at Thresh Socket, right here he's immune to lightning and cold. He can also be immune to fire. He can also be immune to physical. But Berserker is actually magic damage, and I don't think I've ever seen him immune to magic damage. I don't think it can happen. So if you're running something like a Singer Barb or any type of melee character, you'll probably need to have a Reaper's Toll to go ahead and knock that out. They of course do have Sunder Charms nowadays, but they don't really do a lot for minusing the resistance that after it gets sundered, it gets broken, but they still have 95% resistance. So pretty much need a Sunder Charm plus some other way to minus their res no matter what he's got, or just go ahead and save and exit. But the Berserk Barb with the find item here on single player, absolutely spectacular. So an example how you can run them even faster, but you do lose the find item, of course. Here we are on a Sorceress, and I'll be honest, the Barbarian with find item and the Sorceress are kind of the only 2 characters I'd recommend you going on single player and like spam farming Thresh Socket. Now, if you're mixing them in before like Bale runs or before Chaos runs, by all means hop out there and do them with pretty much any character. But it just in my recommendations, you know, you can do anything for fun, but these are the 2 best and kind of the only ones I would recommend spam farming Thresh Socket. Now, if you're mixing them in with like Thresh Socket, Pindle, Eldritch and Shank, and whatnot, and then doing a cycle in another run, just kind of mixing it up variety for fun, sure, go ahead and do that. But what makes a Sorceress so fast is actually this telekinesis spell right here. What you can do is you run down here a few steps, telekinesis, waypoint. This is not the best map. You can see how far it is. It's actually like 3 teleports, actually 4, but you can see how fast you could rip Thresh Socket out right there. Boom. Save and exit on to the next run. But just like everywhere in the game, you want to make sure you prioritize damage and don't stack up too much magic find. Psych! Actually, Thresh Socket is kind of not like a lot of other areas. Usually the old adage, the old recommendation is stack as much magic find as you can without sacrificing damage. Because if you sacrifice too much damage, you're going to sacrifice kill speed. That is barely true on Thresh Socket. Now, it's only him out there. He has no minions. It's not like Eldritch with minions around or Shank or like Pindle or like Neothak or anything like that. It's just Thresh Socket standing there all by himself. So between you and your mercenary, you just need enough damage to go ahead and take him out really quickly. Pretty much if you're on a Berserker Barb, that means just a grief and really nothing else to help out your damage. So on a Berserker Barb like this, I have almost 700 magic find. I can take him out 1 second with this particular type of build. On a Sorceress, very similar. You just kind of like, maybe you'll throw an Infinity on your mercenary that goes ahead and minuses his resistance so you can take him out even faster. You get plus skills on some of the magic find gear like a Shaco and stuff along those lines. You can usually easily stack over 400 magic find on a Sorceress, even 500. So this is one of those cases where more magic find, even with the diminishing return curve on magic find as far as uniques, more magic find is almost always better. So if you're one of those people that run Thresh Socket, let me know your best drop you've ever gotten from them down in the comments. Don't forget, like and subscribe before you go. And don't forget, keep slaying.